morning, everyone. Welcome back to The Writer's Mind. I'm your host, E.K. Valos. Today, I want to talk about writing like us. What do I mean by that? Well, it's not hard. It's easy to explain. It's hard to explain. Um, when we write, it's coming from our hearts. It's our ideas. It's how we tell a story, how we know to tell a story. We just write it out. We write out our ideas, what we think is right, what we want to do, and it may not be right. There's always fine tuning. There's something moves to be corrected. But it's like our voice, and that's the most precious thing. Is like it's our voice, our ideas. Now we're all a work in progress. It doesn't matter how many times we've written, how long we've written, how successful we are. We're always learning, and we always have to keep refining it and picking up what works for us. Like I said, like I mentioned before, like the writing rules. In my experience, 95% or so of them are opinions. So take what works for us, leave the rest. Because it is an art form. It's not going to be perfect. There's a formula to it. It is a box to sit in, and that's what a lot of people push for. That's the gatekeepers. It's all supposed to be for success a lot of times. Other times it's not. For not a whole lot of people make a living at. That's a whole issue. Like one number, excuse me, I remember Stephen King on Writing and Other Writers said back in 2020, like roughly 5% of writers made enough to support themselves and their families. And since self-publishing, since so many books come out so fast, so often, I don't know the official number. To me, I would think the number's probably dropped more down to 1% to 2%, just because of the amount of books out there. Just because you try to get above everyone. Instead of like 2,000 books published total, now we get like 2,000 books published an hour, something like that. So it's like, so just because there's so much more, I would think it's harder. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Great. Please let me know in the comments. But to me, it feels like it's harder. And that's where our voices come in. And you always have people. I mean, I've had editors do this. I've had people tell me this, and they try to change your voice. Like when they write it, no, you're not following this formula. You have to follow this. They change how you do it. They change your phrasing, your wording, and it's like sometimes, yeah, it's needed because we just write crap. It's like we're not geniuses. We're not always geniuses. We don't always have the best. Sometimes we write some really bad prose. I mean, I know this time I go back and look at something like, yeah, I better write that. What was wrong with me? Did I have like this sleepwalking? Just those things. We write things we're not proud of that makes no sense, and that's why we go back, we revise. But to me, even as an author and an editor, our voice is what's important. We have to write like ourselves. We have to write our stories, and as long as we're grammatically correct, how we tell it, that's our choice. That's no one else to tell us whether it's right or wrong. That's the biggest thing. Our process, what story we tell, how we tell it. That's totally on us. That's our personal preference. It's just you always hear the success stories, and usually the biggest ones tend to be the people that just did their own thing. One of my favorites, like I said, I was a huge Stephen King fan. I still like some of his books. And I would tell people, like in writers groups, when ran a couple, and I've been members of a few, and I was telling them, it's like, what, it's like, and I would cite him as I did earlier with On Writing, which to me is kind of like the writing Bible. I love it. It's not really a how-to book. It's just his journey, and it really registers. It registered for me at least. And I tell people, well, he did this, he did that, and someone would always, the one, it was either someone who's just kind of not confident, didn't know what to do yet, or wanted to follow a system. And they're like, well, he writes like that because he's Stephen King. And it's like, yes, but he's Stephen King because he wrote as Stephen King. He wrote his style. He wrote his way. It's his prose, his vision, his, methodology. And it worked for him. Will it work for everyone else? No, not everyone. Maybe some people, maybe not. Maybe it only works for him. That's the thing. We'll have companies. I've had publishers. I've had next editors. They'll try to change it because they want us to fit in the box. Do it exactly how we say to do it. do this way. Always, always have this story planned out. Always have an outline. Always, always start it this way. Always have your chapters this length. Always, it's always, all these little rules just to keep it, because for them, their system has been proven to work, where they sell books because they follow that system. It's easier. It's easier for the editors. The readers know what they're getting, because readers get in the habit of reading certain styles, and we all do. I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, for them, yes, let's do this, follow this. But what they don't say is, that's not always successful. And so that's the law of the game. That's really the game. It's like, it's not always successful. And at the end of the day, I've known people that have, regretted what they've done because they lost their voice. They gave up their power. The book wasn't what they wanted to write. It's changed so much that it wasn't theirs. Others loved it. So the whole thing is, every experience is unique. It's all us. It's all what we want out of it, what we get out of it, what we expect out of it. There's no one way fits all. There's no one right writing style, anything else. It's all a unique journey. One person will have great success doing it one way. Other people won't. So we'll do it another way. Great success. Others won't. It's our process. It's telling our stories. If we're authentic enough, I should say authentic. If we're authentic, we will find our followers. It's write like ourselves. Tell us what we want to tell. Write it how we want it told. Make it as nice as we can. Try to make it as great as we can, and then move on. It's like, that's the whole thing for me. It's like, it's an art form. Be true to us. All right, write like us, and it'll be more fun. At least for me, it is. Thank you very much for your time. See you next time. Have a great day.